I know I'm a little late to the party here, but today we are comparing the Moto G Power, or no, Moto G Play 2024 to the Moto G Play 2023. Now, both these phones, some say they're major improvements, some say they're not. But really, I think there's some huge improvements with the new one. So we're going to first start out with design like we always do. You could see the 2023 model's pretty ugly. We have this very cheap plastic on the back that just scratches from anything you can see. There's already tons of scratches on mine just from everyday items. And you could see we have this very old look. This is the newer look of all the newer Motorola's. This just screams 2021. It's not the new Motorola style. All the new Motorola's look like this now, but yeah. So, another thing, we are getting a triple camera setup. Now, there's something to say about this, and I'll talk about the cameras later. But these camera lenses themselves are glass, but this surrounding, that's plastic. You can see there's a scratch right there. This is plastic, this surrounding, so that's going to get scratched super easily. That's not good. And then we have this super old style fingerprint, Motorola dimple fingerprint here. And then it curves around. It's not even flat back and flat sides. It's a curve, which is another old Motorola thing. So on the right side, we have our textured power button, our volume. On the top, we have our headphone jack, our mic. On the left, we have a SIM and SD card slot. And on the bottom, we have a mic, USB-C port, and only one single speaker on this guy. That is crazy. And then towards the front, we have our curved screen. Little bit of a curve to it with thick bezels, which I'll talk about the screen later. Now with the 2024, this is just a breath of fresh air. Look at how much nicer this is. We have this matte, kind of shiny back. It looks beautiful. This is kind of premium here. This feels like frosted glass. I know I say that about a lot of cheap phones, but this really does. It feels very premium. And look at this. Look at how beautiful it is. Look at that. So we have our nice Motorola logo there. Up top, we have this little camera bump that I love how it just blends right in. Which, we only have a single camera on this, but I'll talk about that later. That's a 50 megapixel quad pixel setup. And we have our flash. And as you can see, flat back, flat sides. We have our fingerprint built into the power button. Our volume. Up top, we have our headphone jack and our mic. To the left, we have a SIM and SD card slot. Towards the bottom, we have our mic, USB-C port, and 1 out of 2 dual speakers. So we are getting dual speakers on this guy. Let's do a little bit of a sound comparison.
What's left? The storms we hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love.
Alright guys, so you can just hear from that comparison that the Moto G Play isn't that much louder, but it's way more of a full sound. And if you cover one speaker, you can still hear it out of the top speaker very clearly. Compared to this guy, when you cover the speaker and you can't hear much at all. It's very muffled because it's only one speaker. So, the next thing we are going to talk about is going to be, the fingerprints. So you can see, the Moto G Play 2023 is on the back side, and the Moto G Play 2024 is on the right side, built into the button. So let's first try out the 2023 variant. This wants me to do glance. Ask me later. So let's do the 2023. Boom. Oh. You can see it's a little bit slow there. Let's try the 2024. Boom. Okay, so you can see it might take a couple tries there. But overall, they're both pretty fast. Let's do a little speed comparison here. 3, 2, 1. Okay, that was the 2023. Let's do that again. About the same. So they're very similar. I do prefer the power button because the back can be a little bit of a struggle. But on the Moto G Play 2023, it does allow you to swipe the fingerprint for the notifications here. Swipe it again, up, and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. And I don't know if there's a feature for the power button, because that'd be kind of cool, which I don't think there is. I can look real quick. It'd probably be in gestures. Now, they both have some pretty good gestures, which we'll look at in a minute. But you can see, just looking at these two screens, if I go into the apps, you can see how much thinner the bezels are on the G Play 2024. Look at how thick the bezels are on the 2023, and look up top. That is just a gigantic bezel on the 2023. Look at that difference. You can see they both do have hole punches, which is kind of cool. So that's kind of cool. But they're both, like, this is way thinner bezel. It's still not thin, by all means, but it's a difference. Let's go into settings. And you could just, first of all, kind of gives you foreshadowing here, because this thing, yeah, not the best performer. You can see we have system navigation on both. You could do your swipes or your 3 buttons. You can see we do got one-handed mode. We do got a sidebar on this. Sidebar, which we don't have on the 2024, but we got one-handed mode, swipe the... Yeah, so we don't have swipe fingerprint, but we do have press and hold power button, which we don't have on here. Fast flashlight. You don't have face unlock on the 2023, you do on the 2024, which I don't think I have on. No, I don't, but it does have face unlock. This one does not. So you're just limited to the fingerprint on here, while you have both on the G Play 2024. And we both do have 90 Hz refresh rates, I believe. So if we go into settings, display, and display refresh rate. Yeah, so one thing that is different, we have automatic optimization on the G Play 2023. Well, we could just go straight to 90 Hz on the 2024, which is way better on the 2024. So that's a big difference there. Big improvement to the 2024 variant of the phone. You can see here, basically the same software. That's one major difference here, though. If I go into settings, and just look at this performance, guys, and I go into system update, and I go to check for update, you can see, so we do have a security update, but this Moto G Play 2023 is stuck on Android 13, and the Moto G Play 2024 is stuck on Android 14. So they're both stuck on their respective version again. The Moto G Play 2024 is 1 year ahead, but it's still not Android 15. And that's not bad compared to Samsung. They still haven't rolled out their Android 16 update. By the way, I'm loving this freaking Galaxy A35 5G. Amazing phone. Just want One UI 7. That's all I'm asking for. But anyways, let's go home here, and let's come look at device information, because that explains a lot about these two phones. So you can see, SoC, on the 2023 variant, we have a Helio G37 by MediaTek. So some cheapo MediaTek processor. Well, on the Moto G Play 2024, we have a Snapdragon 680 chipset, which is actually a pretty damn good chipset. And the Geekbench scores say it all. So let's go into Geekbench real quick. I don't know if I even have Geekbench. Yeah, so Geekbench 6 is not supported on the 2023 variant. And just look at how slow it is. Now, they're both slow, by all means. But just look at the difference. It's unbelievable. If you have the G Play 2023, I swear to God, this thing is unusable. When I swipe home, every time it lags. Look at the lag. Look at it. Well, on this guy, look at how smooth it is. It kind of runs like a Google Pixel. It's super damn fast. Now, some apps make it lag. Like, if I go into the camera and swipe out, that lagged. But just going in and out of normal apps that you use day to day, it shouldn't lag that much. And this thing's just a headache to use, the 2023. You could see it lags through everything. It takes a minute. It really delays. You gotta give it a second, because if you don't give it a second, it's just gonna freeze. And it's a slow mess. That's one thing that it was like that when it came out, and it's even worse now. So, yeah, the performance absolutely sucks on the 2023 one. Screens are super similar. Both 720p, 90 Hz panels. This has auto optimization. But this one, real 90 Hz, thinner bezels, looks better to the eye. Memory's different also, way different. Only getting 3 gigs of RAM and 32 gigabytes of storage on the 2023. That is absolutely unbelievable. Even for 2023, that's unbelievable. Having even 3 gigs of RAM, I'm not going to say anything because the HMD Vive has 3 gigabytes of RAM, but it has 32 gigs of storage. Look, you see that bar? We are 70% full on storage. I have no videos or photos, basically, and that's the apps I got. Barely anything, and we're already almost full. Well, on the 2024, I'm almost 70% used. I got tons of photos and videos, and I got all these apps. Whole huge list of them. Now, it's not to say that 64 gigs is a lot, because it's not. They should have at least 128 gigs, but can you really complain for such a cheap, like, $130 phone? So, cameras. Towards the back, triple camera setup on the Moto G Play 2023, and single camera setup on the Moto G Play 2024. Now, you might say, oh, the Moto G Play 2024 is the worst camera system because there's less cameras and there's more in the 2023. Wrong. These cameras don't do anything. Now, they're not fake. They actually have a purpose, but their purpose sucks. We have a 16 megapixel rapid focus. Ooh, they're using all these big words to try to get you to buy it. Look at this. 16 megapixel rapid focus. So, 16 megapixel main camera, 2 megapixel macro, which is useless. A 2 megapixel. Like, if it was like a 5 megapixel macro, like on the A35 or A54, that's a little useful. It's still not useful, but it's a little more useful than a 2 megapixel. And you're getting a 2 megapixel depth sensor for portrait mode, which isn't useful either. Because this has a 50 megapixel quad pixel setup. Again, they're using these big words. I hate when Motorola does that because they're just cheap cameras that they put in them. But we're getting a 50 megapixel compared to a 16. Now, as you may know, megapixels isn't everything, but I will show you later that in such a cheap phone, megapixels helps quite a bit and way better processing on the Moto G Play 2024. We all know that. Anyway, you can see here, this is one single camera. This one camera has the depth sensor built in and is far superior than this guy. There's no macro, so if you like macro shots, don't get the 2024. But, geez, it's a lot better. Let's just look at it for ourselves. Now, they both don't have, a stupid little twist gesture. They both don't have that. You do have fast flashlight on both. You could see. Yay. Now, it tends to work a little bit better on the 2024, but let's go on the camera. Let's test this out here. You can see we launch straight into the camera here. They both look exactly the same. Now, let's zoom in a little bit. I wish this would stay up. Okay. Let's zoom this camera in so I could show you what we're working with. You can see 2024 is on the left, 2023 is on the right. You can see 1x on both. You can see we do have the macro on the 2023. So again, if you like macro, go with the 2023. You can do extra modes on here. So you get active photos. I believe this is active photos. So we get active photos on both. This is just in a different sub-menu. We do get timers on both. One thing we don't get on the 2023 that we get on the 2024 is automatic night mode. So you can see here, auto night vision off or on. That's something nice to have on such a cheap phone. So 2024 has that going for it. You can see the reverse camera switched around here. You have filters, Google Lens on both. Video, they're both full HD at 30 FPS. You both get to turn off your mics. You both get all those modes. You can record macro video. And the zoom, both 6x. Now you do get slow motion right on the main page on here. And then you get portrait on both. Again, portrait's built-in depth sensor on the 2024 variant. You do get pro mode on each. And you do get more. Now, the more settings, way more you're going to get on the Moto Play 2024. You can see, we only get spot color, panorama, and time-lapse on the freaking 2023. You don't even get slow motion. On this, you get slow motion, which is in the other sub-menu. Spot color, night vision, panorama, dual capture, photo booth, time-lapse, spot color, video, and dual capture video. Now that is super nice. You're getting a night vision mode and dual capture. That captures the front and back camera. That's something you would see on a flagship phone. Let's take a picture of this plant and the results will speak for themselves. Now, I'm not going to pop it up on the camera. I know I've seen a comment, it's not fair. Honestly, they're both the same quality screens on this. I don't think it's really a huge difference if we look at it on the phone screen. This is not the most scientific YouTube channel in the world. This is just me making a cool video. Alright, let's see what we got here. I gotta get a new tripod since we hit 1,000 subscribers. We need to celebrate this a little bit. Alright, let's hit this. And let's see which guy takes a better photo here. Now that doesn't look too bad. I'm looking at both here. Let's zoom our camera in so you guys can tell. Let's zoom the phones in. And you can see the detail difference. Look at that. So I'm going to zoom in more on this. And you can't really see it by me recording the video. I'm going to take this out of here. If I can. But look at how blurry that is. And look at how clear that is. That is speaking for itself. The Moto G Play 2024 is a million times better phone. Like, that is absolutely crazy how much better the new one is for photos, videos, and all of the above. This phone is just so much better. It's a million times better than the G Play 2023. And yeah, so if you guys enjoyed the video, definitely comment, definitely like, and definitely subscribe. Let's hit 1,500 subscribers. How about that, man? All right, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.